Willkommen, bienvenue, and welcome back to Opus Magnum with Lyte. Today, we've got the warming tonic. Since it's only got 6 solutions, they stayed in a nice, reasonable order. We started off with something that just gets the job done, then optimize the cycles, which I want to do, then go back and optimize the space and the cost. So we'll start here with bit by bit. We'll skip over the cycles in case you don't want to be spoiled on those. We'll cover the cost and the space, and we'll come back to the cycles at the end. So if you need to jump around a bit, that'll help you navigate the episode. So we start off with bit by bit. And so what it does is it grabs it one by one, builds it right in here, and then pushes it into the exit. It still has quite a few unused hexes, and in particular, you've got these 2 up by the exit, which just don't feel quite right. But it does get the job done. It's a bit slow, but that's to be expected with these sorts of one-armed solutions. And so we go, okay, so is there anything obviously wrong with this? I know you're screaming at the camera right now, screaming at your screen, screaming at everything. There's something very obviously wrong with this solution. Why on earth do we grab the water from here, take it over a blank space, and then move it into the construction area? Why? Because sometimes Lyte is a big old dummy. And so we make it slightly wider, we put the water on this side, and we end up using 1 fewer hex. It's a simple optimization that sometimes in the heat of the moment, you just don't see it. Sometimes you're just blind when it comes to your own solutions. And that's fine. You just come back to it later with fresh eyes and go, yeah, that was really dumb. And that's how this process works. You look at what you've done, you go, okay, where might I be able to save something? And in this one, my big concern is right up here with these 2 hexes that just really don't seem like they should be necessary. And so instead of approaching it from this way, maybe we could slide in from a different direction. Maybe save ourselves a hex or 2. And it turns out you can fairly easily save yourself a hex by building it here and sliding it in. It would probably be even better if we had some way of building it here, which might be possible, but the problem with that is trying to then rotate it into the end zone, and rotations are notorious for grabbing extra hexes. And so I haven't really fiddled around with the idea of rotating it into the end zone yet. I've been mostly working on sliding it in. But here we are. We've got ourselves a nice building area. You can store this first bit on the end zone while you build the second bit. And then you bring it back together and slide it into the exit. It still wastes a few hexes, but it wastes 1 fewer than our other solution. So it still grinds my gears a little bit because it feels like you should be able to do just a little bit better. I'm not saying a lot better, because you're gonna end up wasting some hexes due to the size of the product and how you can move it around. I still feel like we might be able to jimmy our way into using 1 fewer. Like moving this down here somehow, but then you run into the problem of how do you get the water there unsalted. It's just got some problems that I haven't seen a way around just yet. So we're at 17, which is better than the top percentile cutoff. I am happy with that. Then we move over to meet in the middle, where we do it with just an arm. No tracks, no nonsense, an arm, a salter, and a binder. And so once again, you build it piece by piece, get a certain piece out of the way, and then build the other, and bind it back together. And then you dump it in the bin. you're good to go. Now, this one was a little problematic because you needed to be able to get the first piece out of the way sufficiently to be able to do it with just this one arm. But in the end, it was in fact possible. A little weird, a little slow, but possible. And possible is what we're going for. And then we start trying to do it fast. So my first attempt takes, what did it say, 27 cycles? So we grab, we move, we grab, we move, we then bind the two pieces together, salt it, and drop it. Now, there is an element of this that will make you be like, oh, Lyte, come on, you can do better than that, and that's the late salt. In a lot of situations, late salt means late done. Anytime you salt it after you've constructed it, you could probably save a cycle or two by salting it prior to construction instead of after construction. And so that's the difference between late salt and early salt. Early salt, we've got it right here prior to the bonding, where we do the salting, and then we take it from our bonded state into the bin. So the first pull from 2 of the 3 gets salted. Then the second pull from this one gets salted, because we've got 3 of the 5 bonds already completed over here. Then it just moves into position up here, and then it gets thrown into the bin. Now, it kind of feels like you should be able to shave 1 more cycle off of this. That's just what it feels like to me. I've got no evidence that it's possible, because every attempt I've made has been completely unsuccessful. But the thing that gets me thinking that it shouldn't take quite as long is the path from the second output to the end. So we've got this guy. Oh, I have to go back to editing. We've got this guy here who goes from here, salt, bind, gone. Which is usually fine. But when you've got naked elements here with a single bond, generally you want to bond the salts first. You want to make and salt those salt and bond the salts first, and then slam the naked elements into place at the end. But the problem comes in that would mean that your second water has to land in the center of an already filled multi-binder. And that seems a bit problematic, because that means you would also need to bond this salt to each of these as they're coming out. But you can't have such a massive multi-binder going. And so, as much as it seems like maybe you could trim a cycle off of this, it's probably not going to happen. The logistics just don't quite add up to being able to do what we've done on so many other puzzles, where we take that last one, it comes out, it gets bonded, it gets chucked. It just doesn't seem like it's going to be possible. But this solution's really quite good. 27 cycles. I am happy with 27 cycles. And I like the looping about and the looping about and the push. The sound it makes, I haven't commented on that as much recently. I don't really like this one. It just sounds weird compared to the other ones. But alas, not all of them can be symphonies. And that 27 is right here at the top percentile. So the 28 was not quite good enough. 27 is top percentile, and I believe is optimal, but I didn't actually jot down the global records when we had them. So now all we've got to work with is top percentile and word of mouth. So if you've got a better solution, feel free to supply it. If you've got a more interesting solution, feel free down in the comments, over on Discord, or on Twitter. It's really easy to get and distribute the gifts, so might as well spread the love. Either way, I will see you in the next episode of Opus Magnum with Lyte.